Hello everyone and welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to talk about the rest of the questions in Unit 8. Here we're talking about similar triangles and how to answer questions regarding similar triangles. First, let's take question 9. Explain why triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF. To explain similar triangles, it means you have to say that the angles are equal. So, for example, let's find the missing angle here. Um, First, you have to know that the angles of a triangle add up to 180, and when you add these together, 65 and 85, when you add them, 65 plus 85, it's gonna be 150. So 180 minus 150 minus 150 will equal 30. It means the missing angle is 30. So this one is 30. Let's write it here. So this one is 30. And because this one is 30, it means here we have a 30. It means this one is 85. This means all the angles here are the same. This means we have an AAA. The AAA situation, it means all the three angles are equal to each other. And this means what? This means that the triangles are similar. So when you prove AAA, it means you have proven that the triangles are similar. And that's the idea of this question. Now here, a discussion, are all squares similar? Because all the angles are 90 in a square, and all squares, it means yes, they are similar. Even regular pentagons, because all the angles are the same, it means yes, all the pentagons, whatever size they are enlarged to, will be similar. And that's the idea of similar shapes or similar triangles. Now, let's take a look at question 10. In question 10 here, now question 10, 11, A, B, they have the same idea, all of them, okay? So basically, you're going to find the scale and then use it to find the missing line. Triangle A and triangle B are similar. This and this are similar. Work out the missing length in triangle B. So here we are missing X here. We need to find it. So first step you have to do is find the scale of enlargement and then use it to find the missing line. So how do we find the scale of enlargement? First, let's cover this here. When we look at the triangles, we will notice that the bases here, this one is 8 and this one is 4. Both of them are corresponding to each other. And corresponding means they are the same on different shapes. It means this is the base of this triangle and this is the base of this triangle. So to find the scale of enlargement, we take the big one, which is 8 here. So 8. We divide it by the smaller one, which is 4. So 8 divided 4 will give you what? Very good. This will give me 2. This means that the scale of enlargement that happened between these two triangles is 2. Now I want to use the scale of enlargement to find the missing line. Here I have a 6 and the bigger one is an x. So to find the bigger side, I multiply by the scale. And to find the smaller side, I divide by the scale. So basically, I want to find the bigger side. I'm going to take the 6 because it's corresponding to it, multiplied by the scale, and the answer will give me the x over here. So 6 times 2 is going to be 12. This means that this one is 12 centimeters. And this is how you answer a question like this. So focus on the steps of finding the scale and focus on how to use the scale. So using the scale is very important. If you're trying to find a bigger line, you multiply by the scale. If you're trying to find a smaller line, you divide by the scale. Now let's move on to the next question. As we said, this and this and even this one are the same. So it's the same idea. You just find the scale and then use the scale to enlarge the line. Now that's it for this lesson. Now let's move on to the next one. Here. Now here we have the same question in which we have a missing line. Let's do this, same idea. Okay, first we find the scale. So to find the scale, as we said, we look at the bases. Both of them have numbers. We're going to take the bigger number, which is 18, and divide it by the smaller number, which is 6. So to find the scale here, yes, First thing we do, we divide the bigger number, which is 18, on 6. So we say 18 divide 6. Now, 18 divide 6 will give me what? Very good. It will give me 3. So basically, my scale factor is 3. So the scale factor is 3. Now, the scale here is 3. I put it between brackets, so I know this is the scale. Now, to find a bigger number, I'm going to multiply by the scale. So imagine that I'm missing the 12 and I want to find it. And I know that it's bigger because it's in the bigger triangle. So to find the 12, I just take the 4 multiplied by the 3 like this, and it will give me 12. Now, if I want to find the x is in the smaller triangle. It means to find it, I'm going to take the corresponding line, which is the 15, and divide it by the scale. So basically, I'm going to take the 15 here, divided by the scale, and this will give me the x. So 15 divided 3 will give me 5, so the answer is 5 centimeters. And this is how you answer a question like this. So all of the triangles will have the same idea. Just focus on the shape. If you're trying to find a bigger one, you multiply by the scale. If you're trying to find a smaller one, you just divide by the scale. Now, let's move on to the next question. Here, you'll notice that these triangles are separated. They're not the same, or they're not together in one triangle. Now, let's take a look at the questions that have triangles inside of each other, and you have to separate them to answer the question. Let's remove this. Let's go down. For example, let's take one of these triangles. Let's take this. For example, this triangle here. That's the last thing in this chapter. So we're going to do it, and we will end the video. So basically here, this triangle here, before you answer, you have to separate the triangles. And by separating, we mean to draw them again like this, the small one and the big triangle, and write the numbers on top of them, or label every single line. So when you label, look at the triangles. This is the base, which is 3, so we write 3 here. And this one here is 2, so we write 2. Focus on the lines when you separate triangles. Now, this triangle here, the big line here, it means it's from here till here. So focus on this. It means you have to add both of these together. So 477 plus 3 plus 3 will give you 480. So this means that this line here is 480. 480. So focus when you separate lines, you have to make sure that they have the same numbers. And when you separate them, you must add the numbers that are divided by the lines. So basically, we found all the numbers that we need. And the question wants the height of the Eiffel Tower, which is this one. So let's call it x. Let's call it x, okay? So same idea. I'm going to try to find what? I'm going to try to find the scale. And to find the scale, I have to do what? Very good. I'm going to divide the bigger number by the smaller number, which is here. And both of them must be the bases, or must be on the right, or must be the height. So basically, we call this corresponding lines. So first we divide them. So 480, 480, divide 3, divide 3, 480, divide 3. This will give me 160, 160. So this means that the scale that we're using here is 160. Now I'm going to take the scale here. I'm going to write it between the triangles so I know it's the scale. So bracket 160, bracket. Now, I want to find this line. And I notice that this line is in the bigger triangle. This means to find a bigger side, I just take the corresponding smaller side and multiply it by the scale. So I'm going to take this number, which is the 2, multiply it by 160, and I will get the answer for x. So 2 times 60 times 2, or 2 times 160, will equal 320. So 160 times 2 is 320. So the answer is 320 meters. And this is how you answer a question like this. So focus on separating triangles and focus on how to find the answers for these questions. Now let's take a look at the other questions. All the questions have the same ideas. You just have to learn how to separate triangles. Here, let's take a look at this one. Let's solve it together. This will be the last question here, okay? So, as we said, first thing you do, you have to separate triangles. So let's separate them together. We first draw the small triangle like this, and then next to it, we draw the bigger one like this, and then we label them by putting all the numbers on top of them. So here, this is a 20, okay? This one is a 6, and this line here is 3 plus 6, so this makes it a 9. And we are trying to find the y and the x. So let's call them x here, and the y here is a part of the 20. This means that the whole line here, focus on this, the whole line here in this triangle is 20 plus y, 20 plus y. This means we write it like this, 20 plus y. This step is very important because y here is not the whole line, it's a part of the line, and the whole line is 20 plus y. Now, to find the missing lines, first thing I do, I have to find the scale. As we said, to find the scale, we have to divide the bigger number by the smaller number, and this happens by finding the corresponding lines. So this one is corresponding to this one, and as we explained, corresponding means the same lines on different shapes. So if we're talking about this base, it means we have to talk or use this base. Now we divide them by each other, so 9 divided 6 will give me the scale. So this one, 9 divided 6 will give me the scale. So 9 divided 6 is 1.5. Now I have the scale. I can write the scale in brackets so I can use it here. So it's going to be 1.5. Now, I want to find the x. The x is here in the bigger triangle. It means it is a bigger side. To find the bigger side, I need to do what? I'm missing this number, by the way. 18, I didn't write it here, sorry. Yes, I have to write it. So to find the bigger side, what do? I take the corresponding side to the x, which is the 18. And as I said, corresponding means standing, standing. Same on different triangles. So I'm going to take the 18, multiplied by the scale, it will give me x. So 18 times the scale, which is 1.5. And this will give me the value of x. So 1.5 times 18 will give me 27. So the answer is 27. This means that the x is 27. And that's the first part of the question. Now I move on to the second part, which is finding y. So x will equal 27, okay? Now, I want to find y, and I know that the whole line is 20 plus y. So first I find the whole line by using the scale. And this line is a bigger line. It means I have to multiply the one corresponding to it, which is the 20, by the scale. This will give me this line. Now, 20 times the scale, I'm going to do 20 times the scale, which is 1.5. This will equal 30. And this means that the whole line here is 30. How do we find y? We say 30 equals 20 plus y. Now we take the 20 to the other side. It means 30 minus 20 equals y. And then 30 minus 20 means y equals 10. And this is how you find the values of x and y. And this is how you answer a question like this. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.